Welcome to the first part of our 5-part series of the 5 protective factors. This week, in this series, we will be talking about building parental resilience. And what is parental resilience and how we can build it. No one can eliminate stress from parenting, but a parent's capacity for resilience can affect how he or she deals with stress. So even though we can't eliminate the stress that will come, we can count on that. We can learn how to, if we have parental resilience, we can learn how to more effectively deal with that stress that comes.
So it's important to understand what resiliency is, and we're going to share this short video about what it is.
We all know that life has its ups and downs. Many of us make plans for the future that include the ups, finding a fulfilling career, meeting our true love. But we often don't anticipate the downs in quite the same way. When we're inevitably confronted with life's challenges, some of us appear better equipped to deal with them than others. We bounce back. We swim rather than sink. Bend as opposed to break. This inner strength is resilience, and it's a powerful tool to harness in pursuit of our personal and professional ambitions. Like any skill, resilience can be learned. It just takes some practice. By getting some of the basic foundations right, like sufficient, good quality sleep, moderate exercise, and by giving ourselves some me time, we can set ourselves up to thrive. Learn more about resilience and how to start developing it at axapphealthcare.co.uk/resilience.
So hopefully that gives you a little more idea of what resilience is. Like it says here, resilience is the ability to recover quickly from difficulties. I often think of this as a slinky. It easily bends and moves according to the pressures and the stresses put on it. Resilience helps us deal effectively with stress and adversity and successfully handle changes in our life that will come. We can count on them. And it will help us withstand grief and accept loss. It will also help us to creatively adapt to life's changes or challenges that will come. So let's talk a little bit more about that and in the next slide. So in the video, we saw they mentioned a few ways in which we can build resilience. The first way, they talk about getting enough sleep. Having enough sleep, for me, helps me to be more resilient. Definitely. It will allow us to get the rest we need so we're not so snappy at our children. Also, exercise. Exercise is a good way to release the stresses and the tensions we sometimes deal with in our day-to-day. And by working out and getting outside and getting some fresh air and moving will allow those stresses, help us to be resilient to those stresses that come. Also, taking time for yourself, or me time, as they talked in the video. It's hard with little children, and I understand that, but we need to find time, carve out, even if it's just a half hour of time, just for you to take some time for yourself and rebuild and satisfy that time that you need to refresh yourself and to work through and have some time to relax a little bit.
So when you can focus on you are building your resiliency, which in turn makes you a better parent. So we're going to review a self-compassion activity. This activity is something that you can do with your children or on your own. So the first step is to think about a difficult time in your life. And then write down or talk about some details about that event. It doesn't have to be long, but something so if somebody were reading it, they would understand what was the surrounding things happening during that event. And then I want you to think about think about yourself and what you would tell a friend who was in the same situation. And what tone would you use? Would you use a rough tone, a gentle tone, a stern tone? Our tone is very important in how we deliver a message. And then what actions would you suggest for that person to take? It's important to take ourselves out of the equation and kind of be one of those people that's looking in, because that gives you a fresh perspective. This is a great activity that you can do with your children at dinner time. It creates conversations. You just start by saying, hey, what was something that happened today that was a little bit challenging? And maybe it was a rift with a friend or a disagreement, or they didn't get the ball or the snack that they wanted. And you talk about the event with them. Some of the things later on of what would you tell a friend who was in the same situation, you'll have to help younger children with that, because developmentally it's harder for them to see outside of themselves. But that is creating self-compassion, which builds resiliency.
One of the things that has helped me to be more resilient is taking time to be mindful. Mindfulness can help with resiliency. I want you to look at this picture and think about, are you being mindful? Is your mind full, or are you mindful? Are you in the present? Are you focusing on what is the here and now? So often it's easy to let our minds wander and think about all the things we didn't get done or need to get done, or what's happening in the past or in the present or in the future, when not focusing on what's in the present. And so there's a little exercise that can help with this, to help you learn to be mindful.
And this exercise is something that doesn't take long. It can be as short as 30 seconds, however much time that you have. Sometimes I do the how to practice mindfulness when I'm getting home from the grocery store and I have 30 seconds in the car of uninterrupted time. So I want you to take a seat, find a place to sit that feels calm and quiet to you. Set a time limit. So maybe it's 5 or 10 minutes. Maybe it's as short as 30 seconds, whatever time that you have. Notice your body. You can sit or kneel, however is comfortable for you. Just make sure you're stable and in a position you can stay in for a while. So you don't want to be in an uncomfortable position. You want to be comfortable. And then step 4 is feel your breath. Follow the sensation of your breath as it goes in and as it goes out. So when you breathe in, think about it. Close your eyes and think about how that feels. And when it goes out, focus on your breath. Let everything else go. And then number 5, notice when your mind starts to wander, acknowledge it, but let it go. Simply return your attention to the breath. And be kind to your wandering mind. Don't judge yourself or obsess over the content of the thoughts you find yourself lost in. Just remember to focus back on your breath. Being able to focus on our breath allows everything else to go and gives our mind that valuable break that it needs for, if it's 30 seconds or 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it might be, our brain needs that moment to reset and recharge.
I love this quote by Napoleon Hill. It expresses a lot of what resilience is and what it can do for us as we practice resilience. It says, the strongest oak of the forest is not the one that is protected from the storm and hidden from the sun. It's the one that stands in the open, where it is compelled to struggle for its existence against the winds and rains and the scorching sun. I often think of this as myself. I am this oak. And these challenges that come and will come in our life can either tear us down or build us up. And as we practice resilience, we can be that mighty oak. We can be strong. We can have the strength to and the courage to stand strong. And I know that as we practice resilience and do these exercises, that we can be strong. So I want you to think about what we've shared with you today. Maybe it's something about mindfulness and how to practice mindfulness, or maybe it's about this oak tree that we just talked about, or the video that we showed you at the beginning and what resilience is. And I want you to think about one thing you can do and commit to do this week. Remember, by committing ourselves to something, the importance of that is that we'll do it. For me, I have to write it down. If it's not written down and posted somewhere where I'm going to see it daily, I will forget, because my mind is as long as my pen. And so writing it down, posting it maybe on your mirror or on your refrigerator or wherever you are during the day, that you will see it often, to remind yourself, yes, I was going to do this week. I can do one thing this week. And maybe a week is a lot. Maybe just today, I can do one of these things today. I can take 30 seconds and sit down and be mindful today, if that's all the time you have. Resilience will allow us to be strong and to strengthen our family in times of crisis, especially, and continue to strengthen that family. Thank you for being a part of this series, and we can look forward to you joining us on our next recording.
Yeah, I know for me, I'm going to focus on just today for the parental resilience, and I'm going to do the self-compassion activity with my own child during dinner tonight. I'm going to sit with her, and children have a lot of thoughts, even though they're not interacting with friends. I wonder if I start talking with her about the challenges she's facing, even with the online school education and things like that, how that self-compassion activity will help. So thank you. Like Deanne said, thank you for joining us. And we know that through this, we're delivering a lot of information, and you may have some follow-up questions. You can reach us at 805-543-3700, and we can get you connected with one of our parent coaches, or you can talk with one of us more one-on-one about what your questions are and get some answers. We invite you to come back to our next session, which will be social connections, and then we'll be reviewing knowledge and parenting child development after. Thank you so much, and we will see you soon.